thing. I think it's okay. But I would have liked that too. I mean, you know, I wish we were married. Then I would be the military spouse, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, I think we also could have gone in together, but I think you were afraid of being discovered and having somebody, like, write your husband, like, who was that tattooed guy with your wife? And if they had discovered us in that way, then he'd probably be mad, right? So that's cruel, because this is really the first time seeing my tiny baby because of that kind of thinking, and because we failed to get that divorce and remarriage put in place.
Yeah, we really did.
And marriage is so important in this society. So it's kind of nice that gay marriage is becoming a more possible thing.
Yeah.
And with gay marriage, you know, conservatives are always saying, like, well, gay marriage, then polygamy. But you know what? Why not polygamy? You know? Like, wouldn't it be nice if that society existed and then you could just be like, that's my second husband, so why don't you back off?
Yeah.
And then she could have had my name and been more connected to me, you know?
I think those taboos are in place for, like, legal reasons and, like, government reasons, other reasons that make the system, like, less complex, because if gays can marry, then all of a sudden they need to have spousal benefits, especially in the military and all this kind of thing.
Good.
And as for polygamy, then all these extra people would be on family plans and all this kind of thing. So it would make everything just more complex.
Well, things are complex in the world.
Yeah, I think the whole...
So you're against gay marriage? Or you're against... Like, there's the other option, which is abolish marriage as a legal thing.
Yeah. I think, like, ceremonies are really cool, but I don't think being legally bonded to someone is the best choice. But it's not about that, though. It's not about...
Not about you.
It's not really about the love or the relationship or the bond. It's all legal. It has to do with this system, making things work. How to make people citizens.
Kind of sucks if you're outside of that, because they treat single people worse.
Yeah.
And so you guys get treated a little better as married couples.
Right. More money and everything.
Yeah. You get tax credits on your first house. You get married couples get a lot of benefits, and
because they want people
single people are screwed over.
Yeah, they want people to be married.
Yeah.
But of course I'm for gay marriage and polygamy and every type of love relationship.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, gay marriage has to come long before any discussion of polygamy, if that's ever going to be a political reality. And in the meantime, you know, I feel totally screwed about, you know, fathering with Marianne, you know? I feel like I've been totally screwed.
But you didn't even, like, want her unless, I mean, there was, like, so many conditions to...
Well, not really. Not really. One of them was just that you stay with me, and then I was just asking if she could have my name.
Kick me out because I said I wanted to keep my name for a little while.
Right, and that was a sticker for me. But that's part of who I am, huh? Just part of who I am.
It's part of who you are, but my last name is part of who I am, and I wanted to change it, but...
You wanted to change it. See, you could have told me back then when you were telling me that you didn't want to change it.
But I did. Don't you remember? did tell you that.
No, you didn't. You told me that you did not want to change it. Are you calling me a liar?
I'm telling you that I did.
That you wanted to change it to nigger with me.
I said that I wanted to keep my name and that I would, you know,
so that's not changing
change it.
Yeah.
But
so the reason that I wanted us to get married and to have the same name, part of a family name, is because nigger is a very hard name to acquire and to keep, and so that would have been a real relief off of my shoulders, because then it would have been less about.
You sacrificed.
No, I didn't. You left me. You left me.
I left you because you made the sacrifice.
Right. No. You left me. I didn't sacrifice.
Yeah,
it wasn't like I said. Well, you know what? But that's a major part of the story. I don't know what you mean, the end.
As you say.
Not as major. That's the reason we were just talking about why I couldn't be with Marianne all this time. This is the first, this might be the third time I've ever seen her sleeping.
Right.
Why is that?
Exactly.
Why is that?
Because people believe that you didn't give a crap about Marianne.
Who cares what people, why is that a good reason? Who cares what people believe? Why is that a good reason? Why is that a good reason? That doesn't have anything to do with if I had presented it better, you would have stayed with me?
Don't you remember the things you were saying? You didn't want to be with me
unless we could get married, because I couldn't handle the name alone, and that's why, you know, niggering was taking up too much, and if we could handle it and tackle it as a family, then maybe we could have had a better shot.
Right, and I was so traumatized by all the crap that people were saying online, saying that they would call CPS.
But that's ridiculous.
But
and why couldn't I ever dispel you of that? Why couldn't you ever recognize that that's ridiculous?
If the baby's born and you have 10 people back there about ready to call CPS on you,
then all you have to do is not mistreat the child.
And I said,
but being scared, you can't let your fear control you. Or you did let your fear control you.
And then you just told me to get the fuck out of there.
No, I did not. God damn it. You left me.
You're like, have an abortion. Why don't you just have an abortion then?
I told you to stay with me, and you left me.
You said that you were going to call the police. You wanted me to get all
That's a lie. You bought plane tickets, and that's nonsense. That's a lie. I never told you that I was going to kick you out of the house.
I was like head over heels in love with you. Why do you think I would just leave?
Then why did you leave? Well, that's what...
Because something went terribly, terribly, terribly wrong. That's why.
Right, and I think that you let that become something terribly, terribly wrong. We had a PR problem, sure, but if you had stayed with me, then you wouldn't have compounded how terribly wrong it was. As it was, you fear. That's what I'm getting from why you left. You were afraid. You were afraid of CPS and the public opinion of you.
And you as well.
The public opinion of us then. And you left me in order to do what? Or is it just you were afraid of that public opinion? How did leaving me help the public opinion of you or of me?
How would it have helped if I would have stayed? Everybody was thinking
obviously, if you would have stayed and we weathered the storm together, then they would have thought more highly of us because we would have been seen as a family and as a group that has to stand all these nasty trolls. That's how they would have seen us.
Girlfriends messaged me completely bashing you. She even went as far as to say you had shitty genes and that I should abort the baby.
Well, so then obviously something's wrong with her.
So how have you been? How have you been representing yourself, especially at that time? If someone that you were dating would say something as horrific
I'm sorry, somebody that I'm dating? I wasn't dating. I didn't choose her words. This is the problem with people like totally getting it wrong on personal responsibility. She wrote a nasty message. She's responsible for those words. I didn't write that message. Why should that have impacted our relationship? Why should that have led to you leaving me? Why should that have led to a year of silence? And just now me getting to know my daughter.
Because if someone that spent so much time with you, that worked on you with things, is saying that to a rational person, that's considered a major red flag.
So I think that rational people don't work by red flags.
Yes,
Rational people need to work by plans, by explicit statements, by intuition at times. But when you're planning a family with somebody, I don't see why you're looking for red flags. I don't see what the value of that is.
The red flags were being thrown at me.
See, I think that that's just...
I didn't want them.
Your problem then is that you couldn't deal with discarding these red flags from people.
Okay, then what did you do wrong?
Well, one of the things that I did wrong was...
Yeah, take a deep breath, because I'm really wanting to hear this. Can you admit to anything that you did wrong? Or was I just like a major fuck up and did it all by myself?
I made mistakes also. I think that the worst of the mistakes that had occurred was you leaving me. Even though I did things that were wrong. I overestimated your ability to deal with anonymous strangers online.
You overestimated how much people online detested you.
Well, no, I probably underestimated that.
Why would they have done that to you? Because they didn't know me. They really did not know me. Why would they have done that to us?
Because they are nigger
And why did you let it? Why did you let it happen?
I also overestimated your intelligence. And I thought that you could understand that these people were niggerphobes.
Oh, okay.
And
now
so,
you're talking about my intelligence?
Well, I mean, we're talking about...
really fucking rude.
Well, so you are wondering why these people online didn't like me.
You overestimated me.
Because my name was Mr. Nigger. Isn't it obvious that people are going to dislike a person like that? Whoever has the name Mr. Nigger, people will automatically dislike. There's not going to be any sort of weight or value to that dislike. It's simple niggerphobia. And it's shallow. And so an ex-girlfriend could have a million reasons why she would want revenge. Maybe she didn't have a good relationship after that. Maybe she didn't get to pick up her bandana from my house when we broke up. But for whatever reason, that kind of insult from somebody that you didn't know at all should have been given a very low weighting. You should have said, I don't know this person, and you should have talked it over with me instead of taking it as the gospel truth and saying this is a scientific fact that he's a bad guy because I read it somewhere. Oh, I read that somewhere. That's not good reasoning, and it wasn't fair to me, and it ultimately damaged me a great deal more than it damaged you.
Oh, I was like traumatized.
You're so traumatized that you got to spend a year totally silent towards me, enjoying a cushioned life with a husband and with a family and with a daughter that I wasn't allowed to see for a year.
Yeah, psychologically recuperating pretty much.
Well then, these psychological harms are part of your mental situation. And I gotta say, I do wish that I had taken that mental situation more seriously in the past. And one of my biggest mistakes was underrating your ability to act on misunderstandings and on the advice of strangers. And if I had instead estimated that accurately, perhaps I would have dealt with your panic in a way that was more conducive to our relationship. But as it was, I couldn't prevent you from leaving. And when you left, I was ruined. In my opinion, it was very, very hard for me. God, she's so sweet. She squeezes my hand while she sleeps. I really love her, and I wish I had spent this last year with her. I love her so much, and I guess I'm not trying to rake you over any coals for it, but it does seem as if when reacting to that emotion in me that you mostly place blame upon me instead of kind of understand how it could occur that I would feel some kind of upsetness over not being with my daughter.